Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at a Riki replay around Legend 4. Specially requested, someone asked me to take a look at this. Well, just to look at a game in general, not specifically this one. I looked at your profile, Viet Jesus here. You've been playing a good amount of Riki, and you've actually won a lot of them. So this is one you lost, because I felt like those are the ones you have to learn from, right? Even though this is kind of a longer game, and I see, Tinker, AM, Nature's Prophet, so I can I can imagine why this is a longer game. Um, but I didn't want to do one where you just won, because really you can improve, sure, but there's only win or lose in these kind of games. The final result. So if you improve from winning, like, you're still winning. So if you improve from losses, you can push those into a win. So you mentioned that you like Riki support. I saw you've been playing it a lot, so I believe that. And then you also said you were frequently in the 5 position. This game looks like you're a 4 position, and that's good because 2 reasons. Um, Riki's like essentially a core, right? That's why a lot of people play him core nowadays, and support is actually less common. You kind of just go for a lot of kills. You're a good roamer. That's why people play him in support, because as a core, you kind of just have to be in the lane a lot, and people want to be moving around as Riki. That's why he can sometimes be a support. What that means, though, is that you want items, and a 5 position can't really do that. And that's kind of the second reason as well, because the 5 position has to be babysitting that safe lane, right? And that removes the whole point of being a roamer. If you're stuck watching your safe lane farm and protecting them, you're not moving around, you're not fulfilling your purpose. So really, as much as possible, I would recommend trying to play him as a 4. And if you play him as a 5, like, the playstyle is still essentially the same, but it's a lot harder because you have to buy more wards and sentries than usual. You should still buy at least sentries for yourself as a 4 position, but you don't have to buy as many. And this game, again, looks like you're a 4 position, so that's good. So right off the bat on a draft, Riki's actually pretty good this game. Tidehunter usually dispels a lot of stuff with his passive, but he can't dispel Smoke Cloud, so that's pretty good. And for a similar reason against AM, where AM likes to rush a Manta right after Battle Fury, because that way he can dispel any silences and blink out. But you can't Manta, and he also uses his shield, his E, to reflect a lot of spells, but you can't reflect Smoke Cloud. So Smoke Cloud is really good against AM and Tidehunter, at least until like BKBs come out, but that's usually a while. So you have you're very good with utility this game, because of your smoke screen. And similar, Nature's Prophet, Tinker, these are all good Smoke Cloud targets. So I definitely hope you grab the smoke screen talent later, because that one's really good. And they just recently changed Riki. I haven't played him myself in a while. I'll disclaimer that. But when I saw the changes that just came out to him, they buffed his Cloak and Dagger. 6 seconds fade delay now at level 1. That one's not as huge of a deal. I really like the HP regen that they've now attached to it. Because a lot of times playing support Riki, it felt like you need some regen, right, on almost every hero. But what did Riki build for that? You don't, like, Tranquil Boots doesn't feel great, And mana, it was kind of easier, right? A Ring of Basilius, maybe. Aquila back in the day. Magic Wand is kind of okay for mana, but not enough for health. And a lot of times you max Cloak and Dagger anyways, so I really like having the HP regen on here because it feels like it solves his roaming issue, right? When you're a roamer, you want to stay on the map. So I really like this. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, you want to ask your support, who's got it? Disruptor has both the wards. Oh, are you telling him? Nice! Okay. That's good, because you want to be the guy to place all the wards. Preferably see if you can get him to... Oh, he didn't do it. Okay. Preferably like in the draft phasing. In that strategy time, you can ask people to share items. Try to get both wards, and then just leave immediately. Because what you really want to do... Tell you what. Free cam real quick, right, while you're getting in position. In fact, boom. This is exactly what I was gonna say. Technically, you can share the wards wherever you want, right? Safe lane, off lane, mid lane. You are at Legend 4, which at this point, a lot of people will share a ward to the mid lane. And what people do, they do what this Tinker's doing right now. He walks out at the start of the game and places it. So as Riki, what you want to do is you want to skill your invis and walk mid like right away. And you can just stand on their hill because no one's going to drop a sentry like straight off the bat. So just stand here and maybe a bit more over here so that you can see someone come from this way. But stand here after having someone share both wards with you because you're the greatest ward placer, even better than like Bounty Hunter, who also has invis, because he has to break his invis to place wards. But you can just sit up here, place it. So you want to have both wards and a sentry because it's good to have for laning and dewarding in general, and they're really cheap now. And you just stand here, and you see if this guy comes in ward. Boom, easy deward. But now you're not going to know because you're like over here, and you guys were a little slow to leave the lanes, which I think you were trying to get him to share a ward with you, so it's not like totally your fault. But you definitely want to get out of your base as quickly as you can and get into these positions to spot these wards. Because imagine, starting with an extra 100 something gold and your mid laner has vision. Like, you're already helping him out. And then once you spot the mid ward, you don't have to deward it right away. You can if you want. I would be careful about placing your mid ward. Okay, we're going to come back to this. To finish this point off, once you spot where they ward, keep in mind that you're going to put a sentry here and kill it. And there's a good chance that they will also buy a sentry after that to spot for you and to deward what they're assuming is either at least your sentry, and they're hoping that you also have a ward. And so if you decide to then ward mid, make sure you place it somewhere safe. So like for Dire, if I was Tinker and you deward this, he would probably place a sentry somewhere like here, maybe in the river a bit more, maybe down here in the mid lane. So keep that in mind when you're now placing your ward, right? You don't want to just get it dewarded. So like placing it further up here where it doesn't give as much vision, admittedly, but it's less likely to be dewarded, or somewhere on your side, somewhere down here if your mid laner doesn't mind that. It doesn't give rune vision, gives good mid lane vision, and is a little less likely to be spotted. Maybe a little lower, like down here. This is kind of risky. But just keep that in mind. And then I wouldn't just sit here. As someone with invis, I would be walking up here. And maybe you will. Let's see. But like, don't just get your ward. You have perfect invis. Even if they get a sentry. Wow, this support tied. That is unexpected. I'm bamboozled. Yeah, see, right now you're like the best scouting hero, man. Permanent invis on you, right? So get out there. Don't just sit here waiting. Like, now you're scouting out, like, oh, let's go contest. But you should just be out here already and already know what who's in that lane, what's going on. You're the one who sees, oh, they've actually got 3 people up here, let's not invade, Or like, you can actually go for the rune without like risk, because you can walk in, check what they have, check all their starting items. I wouldn't place your sentry first. Hold on to your sentry. This is a lot of stuff happening at once, so this is why my videos always end up so long, and I was hesitant to pick a 1-hour game, but I knew like this is the best one because I always talk a lot and I pause. But I think it's because like there's a lot of decision making going on, and that's why like I feel the need to pause and explain it all, because it's not something I can like play the game and talk, because I'll keep missing things as it goes. So you want to be out in the lane spotting what they have. Like right now, what's this Tide got? Like, did you know that? You were here for like 30 seconds, but you should have come out and spotted that he had this. Who else? In fact, let me make it easier for us, right? We have the advantage of this. Lion is the only one with a sentry. Well, Lion wasn't in this lane, I don't think. He's down here. But you should know this. Like, you should have seen that these guys don't even have a sentry. So why place yours? And as Riki, you don't want to place yours first. Make them place, if they did have a sentry, make them place theirs first, they hit you a couple times, and you realize, oh, they've got a sentry here. Then when it's safe, when the lane's pushed or something, when they're doing whatever, not there to actively contest you, then you place your sentry in those trees, de-ward theirs for free, and then they have to get another sentry. But by placing yours first, now when they place their first sentry, they might de-ward yours, and now you have to be the one to get the second sentry. So always hold on to your sentry until you know you actually need it. Don't place it in advance when you're the invis hero. And you would have a better idea of doing that if you like scout out that it needs to be done or not, or that like you would be prepared to see that they have sentries or not. Okay, you're checking your items now. I think we're on your perspective, right? Okay, so Lion is down here. So it's a tri-lane. This guy's by himself, so this is good. You should just keep auto-attacking. Auto-attack more there. You were free to get a couple more hits off. You're just watching your Slardar. Help him out, you know? Ooh, do that immediately. Be ready to tango. Don't even go for the right clicks. Especially because you have 6 tangos. Just get it immediately. And you can just hit this guy. Like, you're pretty far off to the side. Just hit him and then walk to the right. Even if he stuns you, by the time Tide gets there, your stun would be off. You just walk to the right until your invis comes back up. Did you get a taunt? I didn't know that. That's funny. Wand is a good item. Okay, now you're coming to look for them. Report them missing. Good. Okay, so you see Tide is bottom. What I hope you do now is that if you ever find Lion, you just start bullying him. There he is on your minimap. I don't know, you were looking at AM, so you probably didn't see him. Okay, he hit you. You know he has a sentry, right? This is okay. It's kind of hard for you to bully out AM. And plus he has his like mana break to take away your mana. I would like if you like looked for Lion instead. Like, let's go back a couple seconds. So after you saw them leave, in that time you hit AM like 3 times or something, right? Which isn't a lot. So instead, here's Lion. Let's look at what Lion does in this time, because we know what you do. So he's placed another sentry by himself up here. Coming to pull. Coming to stack. I hope. What are you doing, Lion? He was going to pull, missed the timing, forgot he could stack. But the point being, he would have been in this area no matter what, this whole time. Now he's going for a pull. You want to bully out Lion. Depends on your hero, so I don't want to like hard code this into your brain, like always do this, always do that. But a lot of the time, as the 4 support, what you want to do is bully out the safe lane support first, and then, now that it's a 2v1, then you can go on the carry. Because the safe lane support usually has to buy wards, right? They've got to buy wards, courier, sentries in this case. They don't have as much gold to buy regen. And if you see, he's got 3 tangos. I don't know if he used any earlier, but he had to share some, and I think he probably used one. I don't remember his starting items. Point being, he has less regen than you do. 5 tangos, a mango, a stick at this point, and you've got an orb of venom, which gives you more damage. You know, 55 plus 15 now, is it right? 15 per hit? Yeah. And what's he got? He's got 55, you know, plus 2 from this. So you have the same right clicks. He has a stun, but you have your orb of venom, and once he stuns, he doesn't do much. And he even got Hex level 2. So if you make him stun Hex, that's like all his, like half his mana, you know? He can't do much after that. So you want to bully this guy out, because you'll win the regen war, because you've bought more regen, and you've got like that offensive item in the orb of venom. And so you bully this guy out, sap XP if he was pulling, you know, or disrupt this pull, bully him away, and when he has to leave, then you and Slardar can go on the AM. I kind of missed what you were doing because I was just watching him. Now we have to rewind again. I think he roamed mid though. This is a little early to roam for mid, although I say that it's a little redundant, but I guess, you know, you can't just leave it there. Oh, you had sight of the... You did have sight of the courier. I think the courier is the bigger kill, honestly. This is good, though. You get first blood. I kind of feel like maybe you could have gotten both, though. Courier is really big to get. I would have liked if you... I think I personally would have switched priorities to that courier once I saw it coming in like that. Because a lot of people are going to be panicking when they're getting ganked like that and not react to save it. A courier kill is really big. Like how much gold can we see here? 345 for this Tinker kill. But a courier, oh shoot. I started talking as if I knew. I forget how much. How come I can't undo this? Weird. Replays. But a courier kill is like 500 for your entire team or something like that. I feel like it's a little bit more. I think it's like 125. Maybe 150, honestly. I don't know if it changes from flying or land. There's like these small details that you forget even if you're higher, so, you know, don't think like just because you're higher you know everything. But I think it would have actually been more gold to get the courier is what I'm saying. Less gold for Invoker specifically, but more gold for your team. And then plus, Tinker can't bring out items to him, and that helps Invoker win the mid lane further. Slardar's low, so this is your time to get some XP and last hits. You don't have to reveal your positioning by getting last hits, but at least, you know, be in position, try to get, if they're going to deny a range creep, go for that. You need to buy another sentry, I think, though, since you know... Okay, there it was. I missed that. Okay. Okay, that's good. You tango it right away that time. Learned your lesson from the first one. I might mix it up, though. You placed yours here before, so this kind of be the first area they check. Placing it over here might be a good mix-up. It would still cover all of this, and, you know, kind of like throw in some variety. But this is okay, too, still. Quelling Blade, yeah, that's alright. You still have tangos, though, so I'm wondering if you really need the Quelling Blade. Well, it'll carry over usefulness later, too, so it's okay. Kind of committing the 200 gold to, like, try to win Sentry Wars later, which I think it's probably works out. You do need to farm a bit later, so... Go on that Riki. I mean, go on that line. Get him. 2 points. I think that's okay. I think some people get Smokescreen level 3 instead of a second point in Cloak and Dagger. Kind of depends on the game. Runes, by the way. You're really good at getting runes because you can like click on them, invis. Oh, that was the last point I was gonna go for the like before game started. You can attempt to steal those kind of runes without necessarily revealing you're there, because you can like spam click it, and if you're pressing stop at the same time, picking up a rune is instant. So if you click it, you immediately get it. If you right click someone, there's like an attack animation, and you can spam click stop as well, so that you don't actually finish it. So if you're competing for a rune and you don't want to reveal that you're invis, you know, right click stop, right click stop, right click stop, and like when the rune pops up, you'll immediately click it, and if you're still spamming stop at those times, you won't auto attack, so you won't reveal that you're invis. And then they almost will never buy dust to start, right? So maybe they place a sentry, they see you're there. If they decide to commit the sentry at the rune, if you die for that, that's really not that bad, because that was their sentry for, like, you know, their lane. So now they don't have that. But odds are you can just walk out. If there were 3 people, then I would be scared. But you should already know how many people there are if you scouted, like I mentioned earlier. So yeah, that was like 5 minutes late. More than that, because I know I talked a lot. We're going to start zooming forward a bit, because I see I'm already at 20 minutes, and 5 minutes into the game. Sorry, I had to silence my phone. I looked away. A very professional video. Alright, let's speed up a bit. Getting the runes now. A shrine. Was this strictly needed? Okay. I like this coming to mid, because I do think you have more kill potential on mid than anything else. Especially with Invoker. Kind of why I would want you to have a point and smoke screen. I feel like it enables ganking a little more. Especially against spellcasters. People with stuns, being able to silence them and hit them. Like, you auto-attack Lion. Smoke screen so that he can't stun. He probably turns around to try to stun and you drop the smoke screen, right? And in that time, hopefully Starter comes up, stuns him. But honestly, it's not a big deal if you decide to get 2 points in Cloak and Dagger first, and then this at 4. As long as you get this at 4, which you did, so that's fine. Alright, so you're off to a great start. 2-0-3. Doing good. Alright, sometimes it's an earn game, you know, and I think you're an okay earn carrier. This game, I think it's okay not to have one. That was kind of weird. What was he dusting for? Ooh, nice. I like that. Extra nice. Get the ward. So you are on a very good start right now, my friend. What are you going to do with it? Nice. Alright. You're on a good start. And I feel like a lot of people aren't used to seeing Riki support nowadays anymore. So I feel like there's a good chance you get a good start a lot of your games. Raindrops. Against Tinker, raindrops are pretty good. And they do sort of solve your mana issues. You're a little slot starved already, though. Because, like, you're not getting rid of this. You're not getting rid of this or this or this. You can upgrade your boots, which won't take any more slots. This is just a clarity, so you could put your raindrops here. Then your next item is going to be Diffusal. Or, like, your phase boots and then Diffusal. Or power treads and then Diffusal. And then I guess at that point, raindrops would fade. Okay. I'm okay with that. I had to think about it a little bit. I do like raindrops against Tinker a lot, though. And it does help out your mana. Sap XP from him. Go for those last hits. Because I was playing at 2 times speed, I'm not fully sure where you clicked. Something Riki can do, which is super annoying as a core. That was the last ancient creep, right? You get that last hit on that because you have the back attack damage. Your attack animation's really fast. It's really annoying. You know, if you follow people, sap their XP from the camp. No one checks their XP while they're farming camps and realize, hey, I'm only getting half, you know? So you're like free to like stand around and then steal the last hit on the big creeps, whether they're ancients or like a centaur or whatever. And it's super irritating as a core. You know, you didn't have to like commit any of your health or anything. You just get the gold and the majority of the gold at that. So that's something to look forward. You almost got that. That's probably about the best you could do. I was thinking maybe you smoke when he stuns, but good. I haven't seen you use your ult quite yet. Which these haven't been like great chances to use it. But at the same time, your ult's pretty cheap, you know, and it's a low cooldown, so you kind of just like throw it out for early kills. 50 seconds. I'm speeding along a bit because you guys are at a good start. And so, since I know this game's going to drag on long, and you guys don't win. Ooh. Painful death, since you were doing so well. I'm kind of just like looking for where your team is starting to go wrong. That you eventually lose the game. Okay, right now, let's take stock real quick. You just died, right? So, you haven't, you've been doing really well. 3-0-4 before that death. And so when you're constantly alive, you're like constantly doing stuff and don't have the chance to like think as much. But you just died, so this would be your chance to like kind of like check everything and see how you guys are doing. So let's open this up. I can cheat, right? I get to see everything, and let's take stock. This is support life. He's a little poorer than ideal, but like, okay. Midas. He could probably be doing a little better. This is like a really old build. This is like, this guy know Aquila doesn't exist anymore. This is really old, but like okay, he's a little behind, I think. In fact, let's look at net worth. I say he's a little behind. He's actually at the top of the net worth. I feel like he should be a bit more ahead though. Then maybe not. I guess this is okay. Got Blink. That's pretty good timing for Blink. So I would be looking to make plays with him. You've been doing really well. He's on a decent pace. This guy's Battle Fury is on the way. It's not quite here yet. So you guys have successfully delayed him a bit. I would guess this probably comes in around 16, 17 minutes. We'll see. This guy, same position 5 struggles. He's a little richer than him though, which is kind of, I guess he has a kill and stuff. Guys, doing well. He's gonna be annoying from now on, right? So he's a good target to gank. Tinker, also a good target to gank. He's got his bots. This is really annoying. He's gonna start accelerating. And he is, oh yeah, he's a support. Man, that's so weird. I guess this is alright for a support tide. I'm not exactly sure where he should be. But actually looks like halfway to a blink, so that is not bad as a support. So, as good of a start as you've had, I am surprised that they're in the lead in gold, right? I feel like you guys have gotten a lot of kills, but it looks like, here, what's the last hit one? Wraith King's got the most last hits. I guess they're just outlast hitting you. Your Slardr's not last hitting too well, and this Tide, I guess he's been jungling because he has a lot of gold for a support, a lot of last hits for a support too. So at this point, you're waiting for him to get an Ags. He's got his blink. He's like ready to fight. This guy's gonna be going for Radiance, so you give him time to farm, and you make plays with him and him. Once he has Ags, then you like 4 of you can do a bit of stuff. And hopefully around that time he's also got his Radiance. Well, actually a little later he'll have his Radiance probably. But you have to start doing stuff because like these guys are really scary late game. But they're gonna be split up a lot of the time. Well, both ways. They're both split up. They're both split up and together somehow, right? Because they have so much global movement, they're constantly going to be playing around different parts of the map. But they can also like help each other out. So you and Slardr kind of want to like smoke and look for these like pickoffs when they're solo, and it's got to be fast so that no one can respond in time. You be farming mid. Guess none of your cores are around. I feel like one of your cores should be around though. I feel like you might be able to kill him. Not once he anchor smashes you, but I feel like if you blink strike, smokescreen, ult, even if you don't kill him and he has to run out, he'll be lower, and your ult is really low cooldown, right? Right now you're just like farming and pushing, so like just throw it out. I'm still not sure if you've used it yet. But like any of those opportunities, you know, just give it a whirl. Because it's so low cooldown. Probably wouldn't have killed him because of his passive, but scare him a bit, you know? Make him go back to base. I'm conflicted because I know it's important to farm the Diffusal, but I feel like you've just been like in the mid lane and it's like obvious you're here. I also feel you should have more deep wards as Riki, you know, your invis. I think you should be you know they're gonna farm jungle between AM, Tinker, Nature's Prophet, this Tide. They're gonna be farming jungle a lot, so you want some deep wards, and you're one of the best people to place them. This is like a really, really common ward and like really defensive, which you have lost your tier 1 mid, so you do kind of need something in this area, but like I would prefer it like up on this hill or something. And yeah, maybe one Tinker ward instead of like this ward over here. I don't think you're placing a lot of these, so like not your fault, but I'd be looking for like a Tinker ward to get kills. You guys don't have any towers or anything, and you kind of need to. And Nature's Prophet is like the best tower taker on their team. Like he doesn't want to hit towers yet, and Tinker pushes waves to towers, but he doesn't like take them. Yet you've lost all your tier 1 towers against an AM lineup, which I know it's kind of like a weird AM lineup because like he's really good at pushing, and usually you don't have that. But your team needs to defend these towers. You shouldn't have lost all of them already, and not gotten any, right? If you're gonna have lost all of yours, I would have hoped you like traded. But right now you haven't gotten any towers, and mid's halfway. This is about halfway. This is full health. So I feel like you guys should already have these, or at least some of them. And so the fact that you don't means that that should be your objective now. Because you guys aren't being crushed, you know? A lot of times if you lose all your towers and they have all of theirs, it's because you're, like, getting destroyed. But you're not. So you guys should, like, smoke, group up. You need to look for some kills and push it into a tower. Because right now you are running out of area to play. And they will, like, make use of all of that area. They will all farm it. But you guys don't have the best wave clear either. That's one of the problems with your draft. Like, you're awful at wave clear, which is something a position 4 frequently has, or frequently wants to have, is like decent wave clear. And you have none. Once you see this guy TPing in, immediately move to the trees on the left there. You do make your way over, but you hesitate for a little bit. You gotta head over. You kind of have to, like, preemptively be there, because you know Tinker is going to blink there, for sure. And you want to be there. If you can spot him, you can get kills. If your Invoker's up there, you have to, like, be in there and ult. People panic and, like, they see your ult and try to get out. Or maybe they commit anyways and go for it. But either way, you're getting work done with your ultimate. You know, throw it out there. Ooh, team wipe. So this is going to be the start of a bit of a downhill. I'd be a little scared, but you might have a chance. You're checking a lot of items. That's really good. Working on Basher. Yeah, I think that's good. But maybe try to position yourself a bit more to the right when you ult. Pretty sure that Nature's Prophet was dead. And he was like the only one in the ult, really. Tide was like at the edge of it, and he can just walk out. If you move to the right a bit, you can get like more people in your ult, which I think is good. So you guys like get these kills, and you did have to kind of deal with lane pressure, but like, everyone just farmed, and like no one's pushing into these towers, which is hard for you guys to do because yeah, there you go. I like that. It's hard because you guys don't have the best wave clear, but I don't know. Not having any T1s at this point, despite it being still a decently close game, is pretty rough. Like, imagine that. They're 2k gold ahead of you, and like if you get one of these towers, if you get 2 of these towers, you guys like even out the gold, and if you get this other tower, you like take the gold advantage, get a T2 to match, you know, much more. Then it's like 2k in your favor. And like, even though they have a Nature's Prophet, I would still say this is a late game lineup, right? AM should not be able to do much. Tinker sort of can, but a lot of the net worth should be like on Tinker, and they should be competing for farm, because AM and Tinker, Nature's Prophet should make sense. What the heck is that noise? I wonder if that makes it into the video. There's just some like a weird rumbling. But like these guys should be competing for farm, so they should be like slowed down a lot, but it doesn't feel that way right now because like this Nature's Prophet is running circles around you guys. This is good. Kill that Tinker. Okay. Please push this. Please, all of you. No? Alright. That's your issue this game so far. Is you guys are just like push up to the tower and then you don't like get it. Or like you don't always necessarily push up. Ooh, nice. That's a tip for the disruptor. Alright, now you guys are doing it. This is a little late. I feel you should get these tier 1 towers a bit sooner. But at least you guys are getting them now. And like as a Riki, you want those tier 1 towers. It feels a lot better to roam, and like you have more freedom when like those tier 1 towers are down, you have more areas to move around. They should feel a little more scared. It should become a little more obvious where they have to put sentries. Let me expand that point. Being more obvious where they have to put sentries. Like, if they have all their tier 1 towers, right? They only need to put like a sentry here, here. Like, those are always going to be like all the other openings. When you take the tier 1 towers, like now that they've lost the true vision there, if they keep only placing these sentries, then that means you can walk in through here, right? In through this way, up here, you know? Or you can like walk in through the lane and over here. And so now, to be more defensive and to like fit that, they can no longer put a sentry here. Or like they can, but it's not as useful. So now the sentry is going to like move its way to like over here. And a sentry is going to like move its way into here, which is the area they're directly in, as opposed to like the pathway to get there. And they'll probably still put a sentry here. But now like you know like the sentries are like in here in this jungle and in this jungle. And I don't know where I'm going with that. It's just like once you know where their sentries are, or like where they probably are, it's easier to like predict and move around. You really should upgrade your boots. I don't like leaving them at brown boots. Boots are like a very efficient, they're one of the cheapest items. Like all the tier 2 boots. All of these, like very good value for the money. So power treads or phase, both of these are really good for Riki. I like phase more as a support, I think. Lets you move around more and gives you some armor. You're at a 16, which is a lot, but could be a little higher. And it would have been earlier too, before you had as much agility. So definitely finish your boots. Like, even before going for... Diffusal rush, I'm okay with. If you want to go boots, brown boots, diffusal, because you're doing well, I'm okay with that. But definitely after that, finish up phase boots or something. Am I in your perspective, or I'm on free camera? I'm an idiot. Whoops.
Dyer's top tower is about to take the
What's going on? Make this guy miserable. That's good. Possibly what you could have done there. It's my mistake for having gone too fast. This is a bit overlap. He's already... Well, let me finish playing this out, so all these sounds don't play while I'm paused. So you get the kill. That meteor sound's still going. Okay, he was disruptor ulted, so you really didn't need to cloud. It's kind of like overlapping. He died in that time anyway, so ultimately it didn't matter, except for the fact that you do kind of have mana issues as Riki. You don't really buy a mana item. And this is 90 mana, you know, that's like a sixth of what you have. So if he's already silenced, you know, just wait it out. See if you get the kill first, and then you can smoke cloud afterwards as it's about to fade. You know, the slow doesn't really do anything because he's just trapped in there. So you kind of want to like preserve your mana. You know, you'd be like here, and that's much nicer. But this amount, you have like one more fight in you maybe, and then you're like out of mana. Whereas if you're up here, you have like 2-ish fights, 2 skirmish attempts, all of that stuff. Even up here, you should swap your quelling blade in. Nice. Oh, there you go. Ah, nice. Although, actually, I kind of want to look back at that. I'm probably going to have to press this 3 times. Because you only got that kill because Disruptor saved you. He disrupted it. He glimpsed that lion back. So let's see. A little further back. I want to see if you would have been able to get that kill on your own. Okay. So first, I wouldn't blink to him right away. He was on the low ground, so I would just walk over. And if you had phase boots, you know, you could phase over and hit him. You want to diffusal and then smoke cloud. He's already out of your smoke cloud. You want to stack them. You definitely could have solo killed him. So what you wanted to do, if you want to blink, that's fine. I think walking would have been good, but since it's so low cooldown, it is kind of good to like just get it off and go. But I think you then would have lost vision of him as he walks high ground, and you would have like blinked onto the low ground, and so that's why you had to like chase. So what I think, walk down, attack him. Either a couple things are going through my head, so I'm like figuring out what the best path is. Either diffusal, smoke screen, and ult, or if he's gonna like hex and stun you, that's kind of why you save the blink strike, because he's gonna stun you, he's gonna walk away, and then you can blink strike to him. But I think he's low enough and you're ahead enough. Like, look at these items, you're rich, my man. So like phase over, blink over, immediately diffusal, smoke screen, ult. And like you're diffusing after he got out of the smoke screen. He's not silenced, you know, he's just slowed. But you want him to be like slowed and silenced. And you would have gotten the kill, I think. Luckily, you would have gotten it anyways. You would have been able to blink onto him. But you know, maybe he turns around and stuns you and hexes, and he does get out. You definitely could have solo killed that. Make sure you want to diffuse them in your smoke screen. Okay, you're coming up to help your buddy. Is this a good idea? Because he's kind of dead. did get him out for a while. But I don't know. He was dead. You guys just blew a lot of ults, and Disruptor died too now. And I don't think you really got anything, did you? Yeah, this is not a good fight for you guys to take. You have to recognize when he's just dead and just leave him. Zooming along. Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Radiant's middle tower.
Alright, you're back alive. Yeah, at this point I think you're dust. Yeah, that's where like playing Riki support's hard. You're like starting to be slot starved. Vitality booster could also be. I know that's weird. This is such an expensive item compared to this. But your health is decent. Like this gives you 250, so you'd be at 1400. And against an AM who's gonna mana drain you, you kind of need the stick to build up charges. They have a lot of spellcasters, so you would get a lot of charges. I would maybe have turned this into a magic wand, because against the AM and against Lion's mana drain, you need your mana, and you know, you're not getting arcane boost, so your only other option is to have a magic wand until you get like a BKB to prevent all that, which is very late game. Oh, Snuggleugafist. Come here. My dog is here. Alright. I'm petting it with my foot. Hopefully it'll be quiet for the rest of the video. So, you could swap out Vitality Booster for the stick, I think. Or turn this into a magic wand. And then stick that in. And I think that's honestly what I would do. Because you need mana more than you need health if that kind of fight breaks out. No one can hit you when you're in your ult, right? So if you have your ult, you survive another 4 seconds if you can get it off. Is it 4 seconds? Oh, it's 5 seconds now. Okay, this works out. He silenced you pretty fast, but I kind of feel like since you were attacking out of invis, I think what you should do is smoke screen. Either smoke screen Diffusal, hit him ult, or hit him smoke screen Diffusal ult. I think the first one is more likely that you get your ult off without being attacked by him, because once you attack, you're revealed, and he can orchid you. Whereas if you smokescreen first, you do that from invis, then you attack Diffusal. There's like no time in between those, and then you immediately ult. I think by the time he like turns around to try to orchid you, you're good. Whereas if you try to like smokescreen Diffusal first, or where if you try to attack first and then do this, I think in that cast time maybe he turns around and silences you, which I think is what happened. I was going a little fast. But I think if you had ulted first, you would have killed him without that extra like hassle, which would have saved you a little bit of mana. You're just like, you lost a bunch of health to that. You're like looking ahead, and usually that's good, but try to like take a look at your character when you're near Tinker's E. You know, dodge some of that stuff. Level 20, what'd you get? These are all good. I see a lot of people get, well, it's kind of mixed. I think the health regen talent is also okay. It's kind of weird because, like, I think as a support, you do want the utility of smokescreen and cast range. But since you got the 8 agility, you're, like, going for damage. So then maybe you do want damage talents. But no, as a support, I am gonna say you're gonna definitely want the left two for 15 and 20, and maybe depending on the game, I might get HP regen. But you didn't really need it this game, especially now that they put it in as passive. I think a lot of people will start taking it less often. I don't know for sure though yet, since it you know, it just happened. So you want to be a little further ahead as Riki. You have a ward to spot for you, but you kind of want to be like, if you, let's say you didn't have this ward, you would want to be up here to spot the people back here. Keeping in mind to be a little careful in case they've sentryed to look for you. But you want to be, you're the kind of person that goes on the back lines, right? When a fight breaks out, you kill the lion, or you see the tide and you prevent him from blinking in by hitting him and smoke screening and then ulting. You're like disrupt his backlines. That's what you're going for. I thought I just heard something, but I'm going crazy. Happens. He's a hard hero. I love Invoker. Tough hero to play. Straight spells are difficult. There's actually like very few skill shot abilities in Dota. Putting in more smoke. Yeah, see, you were unable to like solo ult that Nature's Prophet because you ran out of mana. That's kind of that whole stick thing I was talking about. Yeah, you do kind of need these. I don't know if I would have sold the stick though, because once you finish Abyssal, you'll have another slot open. And honestly, you don't usually need these like immediately. If you know you're going to use them, you can have them in. But it's like okay to swap in one of these for a magic wand sometimes, especially like during a fight. So I don't know if I would have sold it. Don't mind me, just yawning. Placing a lot of sentries, which I think is good, but it also feels a little excessive at this point. Like for some of these, it is good to spot out where they are, and so I do kind of like it, but I also feel like, what am I saying? At this point in the game, you're like going as a team, you know? You want to just like barrel through stuff, and this is like a time to like save a little bit of money not having to drop sentries around here, because this isn't like a pick off kind of time where you're like going here, pick off, sunstrike, whatever. That's when you want the sentries so they don't see you coming, that kind of thing. But at this point in the game, you guys just did Roche and everything, right? You're like all together, you know, just group and go and just sentry where you are at that moment. It did do Roshan, right? I'm not crazy. Yeah. And see, like, you have Aegis, but like you've got two guys back here, and you were like over here dewarding. Also, quick chip. If you put, I think you're the one who placed these. I'm not sure. If you put, like, imagine this is a circle. If you put your ward here, and then you put the sentry like here, you can spot both high grounds with one sentry. That's another way to save some money on your sentries. But like you're dewarding while the guy with Aegis is trying to push, and like these guys are back here. This is just like asking to throw away what you have, and you guys aren't even like that ahead despite all these kills because they've been farming very effectively, and they also have a lot of towers. Like you guys want to be grouped right now, which isn't necessarily your fault, but something you can do to help your chances of winning is to like call your team like, hold off, Slardar, Wraith King. Like, we gotta wait for Disruptor and Invoker. Disruptor's really good this game too. His ult, really good against these guys. So you guys just want to like I think you'll win team fights, honestly. So you want to be together and make sure you do that. And if you see someone like TPN, Disruptor like glimpses them out, you guys can win a 5v4. But now he's like throwing away. Okay, he hasn't lost Aegis because he had his ult. But did he want to lose his ult for nothing, you know? And now, is he going to lose his... I should be in your perspective. Is he going to lose his whatever, you know? I know you got silence so you couldn't do it, but like... I don't know, you definitely... The combo is Abyssal, Diffusal them in, like... I'm sorry. Diffusal them in smokescreen and ult, like right away. And you should be able to get that off without being silenced, I think. That smokescreen could be a little more to the edge, but that's just like a minor thing. Wow, the bash first hit. What a guy. Pure skill, my man. Alright. The problem with buying Abyssal, you don't have buyback. It's a little scary considering you're essentially a core this game. Right? Taking a look at this, you're pretty huge. So you do kind of want to have buyback in order to defend. Like with the AM at this point, plus Nature's Prophet, they'll take your base really quickly. You kind of want to have a buyback. Okay. What are you guys gonna do with this? Put a ward. Hey, you were like looking for it. Can you not place it there? I guess not. It does look like you can. Is this yours? Is that someone else's? Because that's a weird sentry spot. It doesn't show on the minimap. I don't know. Replay's got a lot of weird bugs. If that was yours, I would not place this. This seems useless. Oh, I think it might have been to look for that Nature's Prophet. Which case I understand now. AM was dead for like 100 seconds. I don't feel like you guys did anything in that time. You re-killed Nature's Prophet. Like, you didn't get any, like, towers or anything. You got some D-ward and stuff, but, I don't feel like your team did anything in that time. Although I think Wraith King might have been dead for some of that. But still, I think you should have been able to get something done. I don't know if the blink is necessary. This is already, like, huge with the talent. What would be a better item? Put this down. So now that you have the Abyssal, now your combo can be auto attack, Abyssal, auto attack, and then as the stun is about to fade, smokescreen, Diffusal, ult. And then maybe if you blink, okay, so let's change that. You can like blink on them, attack, Abyssal, attack, smokescreen, Diffusal, and if blink happens to be up at that point again, it's only 4 seconds. I don't know, it'd be a little close since this stun is only 2 seconds. If it's up again, you can use it, then ult, but otherwise just like ult, and then you can use it to catch up to them once they run out of your ult. So that should be your combo now. And taking a look at what item you should build, because I don't think you need blink. Like, you're already invis with like a huge blink range, so I feel like you can already get to these backline places pretty well. I feel like you want more crowd control or damage. I'd be okay with BKB. That would let you run around in fights. You already do a lot of damage, so, you know, like, just straight up running at a lion while BKB, like, he can't touch you. That causes a lot of disruption in the fights. Maybe an MKB because he's gonna like blind you. He'll probably build a butterfly. I kind of like Nullifier, honestly. It's kind of a weird item. The Dispel is good for you because Lion has a Ghost Blade, right? And so that allows you to kill him. You could also get a lot of kills on AM, I think, popping it from Invis, like Nullifier Abyssal, because he's expecting to be able to just Manta out of like stuff. And so if you nullify him, it's it's a real surprise element for him. Similar to Tinker. I don't really like Orchid because again he'll just Manta it off, and it is kind of good against Tinker, but it kind of overlaps with Smokescreen, so I don't really like it. I would kind of like Scythe. I know it's weird, but just remember, like, look how mobile they are, and you're someone who doesn't have catch really. These guys kind of do, but I just think the extra instant disable would be really nice for your team because these guys will bring a lot of damage, and they do have blinks and stuff. But his stun's kind of slow. His stun's a little slow. There's ways to get out of his stuff. So I think it's a weird one, but it could be pretty good. Besides that, straight damage like Butterfly, I guess. Yeah, that's about all of them. See, it's weird because you can't really build. Like, a pipe would be really nice for your team, but you're not really a pipe builder. It's a little weird. Team forward again. Skeletons know to play the game. They go for the objectives. Probably buy a gem for the amount of like sentries you're buying. It's a little scary though. Usually Riki doesn't want to be the one to buy a gem. But I don't know. Trading sentries for sentries feels like, I know it's important for you to be able to move around, but at this point your team should just be moving as a unit, and you shouldn't have to be worried about like, oh, they see me in the sentry. It's just like, oh, he sees me in the sentry and now I'm gonna kill him. Pretty sure you do way more damage like when you're ulted. 0.5 attack rate. You don't have to chase after them. I don't know that for sure. I haven't played them in a while. But I feel like a lot of these you just need to ult. BKB would also help you get rid of the silences that have been going on. Is he the guy? He's not really the guy you want to smoke screen. I know he's like, it was only Tide and him that you saw there. But you want to look for like Lion and Tinker, maybe even the AM. Lion you can solo kill. That's kind of like what you should do in these fights. Just like go on him, kill him. Smoke screen his abilities, like his game changing like Treant spawn, you know, Sprout. Actually, Sprout can be game changing, but you know, his abilities aren't that big. Lion's abilities much bigger to silence. Like, look for him. Smoke screen is only 3 seconds at this point, but like I don't think he's the guy you want to be looking for. Nature's Prophet, I mean. I think you want to go look for Lion and Tinker. Go for them. And see, you've got 2 slots filled, so that's where your Magic Wand could be. Yeah, really late phase boot finish. I think this should be, I already said it, first or second. After Diffusal or before it. Just really good value if you think about what you're getting for the money you're paying. 6 armor. And 18 attack damage. And the chase. To be able to like phase boots forward. And even just phase boots around the map when you're just walking. Move speed is really important when you're roaming. You're a little too solo, I think, at this point. I think you want to be with your team. Okay, you had the right idea. I like that. It's hard here. But you had the right idea. How did he get his BKB off? In between your Abyssal and Slardars, I guess. It's only down to 40 seconds now, you know? Just throw it out. Not that I think he would have gotten that AM kill once he BKB, but I'm critiquing a little too much on that one because like getting a BKB charge is really good. I think your next item should be BKB instead of Blink. You're dying to crowd control and magic a lot, and their team is heavily magic. Since you're not going to build a pipe, you should build a BKB. There's that butterfly. So it could be like BKB, MKB after that. Goodbye, mana. Is he just losing his mana? Oh, this is weird. It's working out though. Alright, he also has a Ghost Blade, so like that's another case for the nullifier. Ooh, a smoke. That seems unnecessary. Why did he buy back? I like these wards, they're good. Spotting out for Tinker and Nature's Prophet. And AM blinks into the trees too. I feel like I haven't had much to say because I feel like this has been 20 minutes of the same thing of like your team not being fully grouped. Maybe that's too harsh to say though, right? Because I'm just watching from the side and I know how hard it is to play against Tinker and Nature's Prophet. And you're like trying to do the right thing. You're like looking for them in the side. It's hard to get them here when you don't have vision though. It kind of has to be like where you've placed the wards. Or to have like Slardar as well blink with you and look for him. Just both blink to like where you think it's gonna be and go for it. BKB so that the March doesn't cancel blinks. Blink onto where he was while he's using rearm. Because you can see where the center is. And then you like you kill him. That's kind of how you have to stop these split pushes. And instead you guys are like playing by their pace and being really split up. What's your other option? Cloak and Dagger doesn't reveal. I think Tricks of the Trade AoE is the right call. I haven't seen Riki hit 25 in a bit. Are you the double damage carrier? Sure. I kind of feel like Wraith King should be the guy to pick that up. He's up. He wasn't quite there, but I think you just like stand near it, wait for him to come get it, because he's the guy who can like safely hit the tower at high ground. He just hits it. If he dies, you know, he has his ult. You can BKB out after that. Invoker's not really a tower hitter, or like he is, but you want him to be in the back, ready to like counter initiate. So like Wraith King's the guy who has to hit it. I think you want to stay a little closer. I know you're scared, but like you already sentried. You already know they don't have like at least up to here. But these trees are all broken, which is unfortunate. Because I was gonna say you can hide like at the edge of these trees. They could have a sentry up here, so it is a little scary to walk closer. But I think like being around here would let you get vision here, and if you see them start to go in, you could blink and smokescreen ult, and kind of disrupt what they're trying to do. Being here is kind of okay too. You could smokescreen in here so that Tide can't like blink and ult. But it does put you in like the same position where the rest of your team is, and like give them a chance for Tide to get a great Ravage off, and also makes it hard for you to get to the back lines. Whereas you positioning around here is easier to like, Lion's gonna be up here and like wait to walk down for the fight, you know? So if you stay around here, because you already know they don't have a sentry, at least in this area. So assuming their sentry is like at the very edge of yours up here, you know that you're at least safe to like up here, you know? And that is enough range for blink. And even if they do go in and you need to join in, your blink is like a huge range, right? Yeah, look at that. That's insane. So far. So like being over here, if they did break into a fight here, you phase boots up a little bit, you blink in. You got hit, so I hope you know that there's a they had vision of you there. Keep that in mind for later. See how you have to like go look for someone now? Where'd you just TP? Oh, you TP'd bottom. Oh, you kind of had to, but man, that's really gonna throw off your fight. You're a big part of these fights now. Anyone have bots? Invoker's got bots. He should be the guy to respawn bottom. Not you. You have no way to like get back into the fight. Where are you? Oh, it's switched. I'm an idiot. Let's go back. I want to make sure I see what you do. So you did decide to get the nullifier. I kind of feel like BKB would be really good. That's kind of how you're dying in a lot of these. And I kind of feel like you're saving your ult for when there's like more people around, but I don't know. That tide was low, and you diffusal and all that stuff in on him. I think you like commit the tricks of the trade, try to get the tide kill real quick. Again, because it's low cooldown, you're able to like throw it out like that. And when there's more heroes, you know, it's more likely to hit other stuff anyways. Did you buy back already, or did you not have it? Yeah, you didn't have it. If you didn't buy this, you might have it. They're taking a pretty sloppy fight, though. I feel like, I don't know, maybe there's more I should have been saying. This last 30 minutes have felt very much the same, which is kind of what happens in Tinker Nature Profit games. It feels very much like you guys are feeling very pressured by the split push, and you guys aren't properly grouping at the opportunities you've had, like when you had Roshan and this one. And at this point, you guys can still win. You either need to like commit to something, either commit to a group push, or like commit to like having a couple of you just stay like here, smoked up, or you invis and like one of them in the trees. You have to get the pick off on one of these guys. But like, see how they're all dead and like, look, you're right here. You guys need to like move out. So for this game, I feel like it's a play style issue, and it is hard to learn how to play against like this many split pushers if you don't win too quickly, and you guys don't have like good wave clear either. So it's not necessarily so much your fault, but like a playstyle issue. But you have Disruptor, who should be really good at picking off these split pushers with you guys. Like, you guys should be able to get someone and push your advantage in a 4v5, force someone to buy back, repeat, kill that guy who just bought back, or kill someone else, and just like keep doing that until you do get someone who bought back, and then raking summon skeletons right on the tower, you know? Kind of has to be Tinker that you guys pick off because his wave clear is so good. And the thing is, you have a lot of opportunities to pick off a Tinker. You just bought those wards. You really need to get buyback, though.
Are Radiant using echolocation?
'Tis mine.
nothing's happening. It's a very like tiresome game to play. I've played my share of these. And there's like not much to do in the game, and there's not much to say about it either. See, this isn't the right guy to go on. He's already got like a BKB going. The smoke screen does nothing for that. Let's rewind a bit. Let me do free camera, right? Go back again. I'm gonna imagine I was you. I'm gonna try to imagine what my screen would have been looking for. Where are you right now? Here. Replay bugged. If I go back one more, will it fix it? Nope. Okay. Sorry it's a little bugged now, but what can you be looking for? See all of them up here. See this guy ward. You see his double damage. I would be like, alright, get out. Like, there's nothing to defend here, right? You guys have all your T3s, so you're not in that bad of a spot. I should be like, alright, let's get out. He has double damage. I don't want to fight yet. Who cares if they get these wards? Not worth, like, dying too hard for. Okay. They're going in there. Where are you? You're back here. Lion's here. Tide's here. These are your man. Like, these are who you should be going for. You stop this Ravage. You stop this guy from, you know, Finger or Spike. X, all that stuff. You can kill him. Well, he's kind of tanky now. But, like, does more than smoke screening this guy, right? And now he's... Oh, I had... Okay, maybe you didn't see that much. My bad. I should go back. I had fog on both teams. I don't even know why that shows when I'm doing player perspective. Okay, you see Lion. You still would have seen AM. And I would have made... Once I saw AM double damage, I would have made the call to leave. They're going on him. But you knew Lion was here. That's who I would have been going for. I would have been running this way. I would have been looking to blink over here again, because these guys are both there in one smoke screen. You don't see him really coming in because they took out your ward. And at this point, you're kind of like... done, I think. Oh, you do get the AM kill because of the Wraith King eggs. Yeah, but at this point, it's not so much. And if we like focus on what Tinker and Lion were able to do that fight. I know I'm looking at this a lot, but it's like finally something happening in this game, right? And a lot of just like sitting watching pickoffs for a bit. It's like the first real team fight in a while. So he's casting rockets. Lion gets a hex. Was that him? No, that was someone else. He gets a stun. He gets stunned. Tinker's been able to cast rockets and march several times. Now he Ghost Scepters. Wraith King is wasting his time alone. Now he tries to go on this guy who can Ghost Scepter. So imagine you were here, smoke screened them, abyssal them, diffusal them, kept them in there, and then ulted. Wraith King would be like able to hit something in his BKB. You would be disrupting the back lines. And like coming here, like you didn't really do anything to like stop them from killing this guy, right? Because they all had BKBs and stuff. So you have to go on the people who aren't BKB'd and cause some kind of disruption. You guys are getting wrecked by these trees. You sold your Quelling Blade way earlier, which I agree with, but it's hard now. Smoke screen. Nice. Yeah, you guys are kind of done at this point. Yeah, so you did really well to start, and that's what Riki needs to do, because Riki can have a really bad start. Looks like he had a great start. I'm okay with a Diffusal rush, but you know, finish your phase boots after that. before getting anything else. Probably keep your magic wand too. I'm okay with the Abyssal purchase this game because it's really good for pickoffs against how mobile these guys are. But then your targeting could use some work, going on the right people. Commit your ult a little bit more. Keep a couple. You don't necessarily have to, but if you want, like your mana, you have a health regen now, so you're good on that front. And then you got like an Abyssal, so that has more. So if you like keep a clarity or two in your backpack, that way when you go for like, you can stay on the map forever essentially, because your mana issues are solved by the clarities. Your mana pool is not that huge. Your mana spells or your spell costs aren't that high. The 1 or 2 clarities in your backpack will let you just like stay out, and I hope that will encourage you to just like throw out your ult a little bit more on some of these pickoffs instead of like holding it a little too long. Getting down that combo of like blink, smoke cloud, diffusal, ult right away. Making sure they're diffuseled in the smoke cloud and not out of the smoke cloud. Let's take a look at the grass. Looks good for you guys to an extent. Here, you guys were in the lead, but I know it didn't feel like it. I'm trying to decide. It looks close, but should it have been this close? Invoker-Tinker matchup is kind of... Tinker ramps up before Invoker does because of the way he works. In the lane, I think he can probably do a little better. Tide support was weird. He was able to just like jungle a lot or something, I think. He ended up with more gold than I feel like he should have. If we look at this, 10 minutes. He was close to you, even though I felt like you did a lot more. Oh, then he didn't have that much gold after that. He was around you. But we felt his impact more in team fights than yours, I think. Because he was able to get really good ravages off. Which is, to an extent, what he does, right? I'm sure, like, you applied more pressure around the map in between that time, because that's how your hero works. But then in team fights, even though you're not going to have as large of an impact as a Tide Hunter with Refresher Ravage, going on the back lines more would have, like, I would say, like, I felt an equivalent impact from you then, you know? Because even if he ravages your team, a couple of your guys had BKB, and you would be able to like be messing with the Tinker and Lion in the back, and they do a good amount of damage. Let's take a look at that. Damage dealt, like Tinkers are always really high up there. So imagine if you just had to spend time like walking out of your smoke screen. He doesn't have BKB. He doesn't have any way to get out of smoke screen except to blink. But you should be like auto attacking him or something in that time. I believe your W applies damage, so even if he Ghost Scepters, I think you can W and damage him. Now granted, he can just like actually no, if he was ulting, no, because you would cancel it with your smoke screen. So I feel like he would have been a really good target to go on. Maybe you get a BKB instead of Abyssal. No. It's tough. Itemization's really hard. You wanted the Abyssal to get the pickoffs, which I agreed with. But at the same time, BKB lets you like ignore these guys and just continue to run at them and scare them. But then you don't have a way to deal with Ghost Scepter. And if you're ulted, they can't bother you anyways. So, I would say Abyssal in that case, and then a BKB afterwards. And just make sure you ult before they can do any funny business. Stun you or anything, blind you, that kind of thing, Hex. You ended up poorer than this Disruptor. You bought a lot of sentries. Even though you're Riki and want to win the Vision War, you were a little excessive, I think. Like, your team bought more sentries, and this guy even bought a gem. Probably shouldn't have done that. And if we take the gem out of this purchase, right, you spent way more than him as the 4 position. a lot more wards than him too, which is like very gracious of you, you know. And if I'm a 5 support, it's like, oh, thank you, you know, I actually have money. And Disruptor does have like some good items to get. Not this one. He does have some good items to buy, so him having some gold is good. But I think you probably want to buy a few less. You're a great person to place them, but you don't have to buy them. You know, let Disruptor buy them, and then pass them to you. You know, or drop them in base and you pick them up. Save yourself a bit of money. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So look at this. 49 sentries. How many do they buy? 33. The enemy team should be the one buying the most sentries, not you guys. So I pointed out a couple times where I was like, this sentry feels unnecessary, so on, so on. It's kind of hard to explain. Like at face value, it seems good, right? You're checking for wards, and you're like securing to an extent your free ability to move. But some of it was like, ask yourself like, why do I need to be able to move freely through this area, right? Let's say I walk in here and I don't know they have a sentry, and then they blink. Like, what do? They try to kill me. Lion like hexes me, and then they go on me and kill me. What point of the game should that happen in? That should happen like early to mid game when you're looking for pickoffs, that kind of thing. And that's when those sentries are useful. But then as you enter this like late game stage, and it's like, okay, I walk in and they go on me and I die. Why didn't my team back me up? Why didn't they like, oh, they just blew their like stun, their instant hex and their follow-ups on our position 4 Riki. Why does my team not follow up blinking on the AM, blinking on the Lion, whatever? And the reason for that is because like your team wasn't playing together. And so you place these sentries so that you feel safer to walk through, and like, oh, now they won't go on me because I'll know that they can't see me. But I don't have anyone to back me up anyways, like going on these people, and I don't have anyone to save me if I was seen. I don't know if that fully explains it, because it is, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Maybe I'll be able to type it out better when I'm thinking about it while this video uploads or something. But you just don't need like this many sentries, I guess, unless you're like super ahead and like instantly killing people. And even though you did start out ahead, it didn't feel that way at the end game. It didn't feel like, as Lion, it didn't feel like, oh, Ricky's on me, I'm dead. You know, as Tinker, if I was that Lion, no, I'm not feeling like that. If I'm the, I've never played Tide 4 in my life, right? But if I was like playing any of these guys as a core, I don't feel like, oh, Ricky's on me, I'm definitely dead. You know, I'm feeling troubled, like, oh, I might die now, someone help me. But I might also be fine, actually, guys. You know, I might get out. I'm gonna like hex him or just like walk out or something. And part of that was because like you didn't reach that super late itemization. Like you had these, which are good, but you didn't have like a 3rd or 4th damage item, which would have kind of let you get more solo kills. Not that you necessarily had to get solo kills, but like because you don't have that solo kill potential, you don't need to be like walking alone so much. I think your build was good. I might get a second point. Well, no, I guess it's fine. And I was thinking maybe I would get like a second point in smokescreen before then finishing out maxing blink strike. Just because 10 miss chance is really low, 30 is a little nicer. But the reason you were using smokescreen early is for the silence. So I think it's fine. Maxing this out, then this one. Talents, I think those were all fine. Look at your teammates real quick. I know you can't control them, but in terms of like what they did, I don't know if I would want the blink or orchid. Definitely not the orchid. As a disruptor, I just feel like I play disruptor, so like I had Arcane Boots, Glimmer, and then maybe an Aether, and then I get to the point where I have Ags, I'd be super happy. I wouldn't want anything else after that. Maybe a Scythe. That would be like the next thing I get instead of this Orchid. But I would be very happy that I have this Aghanim's and not need any more gold. So imagine this 4,000 gold now goes on you, and you had this Nullifier finished, or you had a BKB. You're a lot scarier now. This Orchid doesn't add as much to the Disruptor as it does to you. And Disruptor does have an easier time farming than you do. And you shouldn't like strictly be farming creeps. But since your team wasn't fully grouping, instead of wandering around so much, maybe you could farm a little more, try to get some of the gold instead of this Disruptor. Kind of a hard call to make though, I know. And part of it is just like this crazy amount of like 4K as the Riki yourself. These guys are the ones you should be spending 4K, not you. You know, 4K, not that you should buy none at all, but imagine 4K into like this Nullifier or something like that. You could just like do a little bit more, I think, with a little bit of like gold conservation. When did you get your stuff? Diffusal by 20 is not bad. A little sooner might be possible, but 20 is fine. And then the Basher 5 minutes after. That's super good. Like you were super on point, like up to here. And then after this, it felt really awkward. This is like where it started feeling like the team wasn't doing much. You guys were getting like split pushed everywhere. Look how late these phase boots are. This should be like here, then the bash should be like here, or like you finish phase boots here, and then the diffusal. Honestly, the diffusal might still be in this area because like with the extra damage, the extra move speed, maybe you'll get an extra kill or something. Let you farm and then move around faster, that kind of thing. But this gap, Vanguard felt like Vanguard didn't add anything for you, I guess, but it was the build up to Abyssal, but it sure didn't feel good. And it did feel like you lost some solo kill potential after this power spike ended. I don't play enough Riki to like have a better like answer for you, like, oh, you should definitely get this item instead. But I feel like up to here was really good, and then like it really felt like it dropped off, which is maybe like that's just the consequence of doing this build up. But maybe if this had come sooner and you had bought like some less, well, a lot of your purchases were over here. Yeah, you didn't like scale at all after this. You managed to get like all of these. Fuck this video. Oh, whoops. I shouldn't have said that. Pardon my language. But this video is really long. I just looked over and I saw the recording at an hour and a half. That's what I get for picking a Tinker Nature's Prophet AM game, right? But yeah, I think I've said just about everything. Target the backline a little more, that kind of thing. Spend a little less gold on these sentries. Overall, I think you played really well. You did really well at the early game, and that's the part that Riki really struggles with. So I think it's a lot easier to like adjust your early game a little bit, or your late game a little bit, and you'll feel better. Like once you switch your target priority in your late game to like this lion, this tinker, that'll feel better. Okay, I'm gonna stop the video there because I'm just rambling at this point because this game was so long, and I'm like trying to fix that, and so I'm not going to. I'm just gonna leave it a disaster. All right, hope that helped somewhat. Good luck.